the jury find George Zimmerman not guilty.
The verdict in the George Zimmerman trial, leaving a nation divided and wondering what's next. Hello and welcome to The Wrap, a review of last week's most important, intriguing, strange, and inspirational news happenings. Up front in this edition, what else but the fallout from the not guilty verdict in the trial of the man who killed teenager Trayvon Martin. It took little more than an hour after the jury in Sanford, Florida cleared George Zimmerman of all charges. Protesters around the nation hit the streets. This week, here's my 2 cents on young black men. It's a subject I have personal knowledge of. I used to be one and have 2 black sons and a grandson. Well, there's still more ahead on The Wrap. I'll have a report explaining why the Motor City is now the Broke City. And we'll try to explain what causes the medical condition ghetto booty and why one Tennessee woman is not happy about that diagnosis. When The Wrap continues, I'll have my 2 cents on freedom of religion in America.
Anybody not ashamed to give him glory tonight? Hallelujah. Anybody in here, he's been good to you. He's been good.
I led off this broadcast with a story about conservative criticism of Bill Cosby's complimentary words about members of the Black Muslims, officially known as the Nation of Islam, an offshoot of the Islamic religion.
And we filmed here for a month without any injuries or, outside of hitting a camera because of a malfunction in a video machine. Other than that, we've had no problems whatsoever.
That is until just before 6 o'clock this evening. Filmmaker Toby Halecki killed in the town of Tonawanda when a movie stunt goes bad. Topping Eyewitness News, a very tragic accident. 48-year-old Dunkirk native Toby Halecki was crushed to death during the filming of a movie stunt. Police say no one else was injured when a telephone pole fell over on the accomplished producer-director.
Just in case you were wondering, as I was, there will be no encore for Mr. Janes as principal on the roof. You see, next month, after more than 30 years' service as an educator, he is going to be retiring. In Fort Worth, Warren Williams, CBS 11.
The first day of Passover came. Jesus sent Peter and John off, saying, "Go prepare the Passover that we might eat it together." Well, they left, found everything just as Jesus had told them, and began to prepare the Passover meal.
It's peaceful now here at the Wharton Center for the Performing Arts on the campus of Michigan State University. But back in April, this place was the setting for the deliberation of a subject far different in tone.
During a recent editorial, Channel 4 called for a corrections overhaul. We couldn't agree more. Michigan must overhaul a system in which the prisoner population is growing unabated and which is gobbling up an increasingly disproportionate share of state funding. Good evening, everyone. Here's what's happening on the news beat. A Lansing family may be lucky to be alive this evening. Their home on the city's southwest side caught fire. Turns out the blaze did little damage and no one was hurt.
They are in the mail as we speak. The Internal Revenue Service has already sent you your tax forms for this year. More than 100 million of the forms were dropped off in the old mail system today. That means it's just about time to pay up to Uncle Sam. Joining us now is our Eyewitness News tax pro, Esther Gulyas, and you have some tips. Hopefully you're going to save us some money.
We have 4 days left, and because we have 4 days left, we can still cut our tax bill.
I particularly like having a party for some of those business associates.
That's right.
That isn't a bad, that's not a bad from the station
bill.
over.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Esther.
You're welcome.
TI Automotive is the world's leading supplier of fluid storage, transfer, and delivery systems, including brake, fuel, and air conditioning applications. A truly global company with the capability to design, develop, and manufacture solutions for the world's automakers.
Well, in sports this morning, the Spartan hockey team is moving on in the NCAA tournament in Providence, Rhode Island last night. Spartan Icers came from behind in the third period to beat Boston University. The All-American Dwayne Norris scoring the go-ahead goal for MSU. Next up for the Spartans, top-ranked Maine on Saturday night. Here now, your weather forecast for Lansing and vicinity. Snow and rain possible this morning, then becoming partly sunny by afternoon with a high between 35 and 40. For tonight, skies are going to be clearing with a low of around 20. And then for Saturday, looks like a beautiful day. Mostly sunny skies with a high between 40 and 45. That's going to do it for us this morning. Thanks for watching. Let's go back now to Good Morning America. From our I Can't Believe I Ate the Whole Thing file, the latest snack craze sweeping the nation. Crocodile pies.
Upful.
The Pastryman Pastry Shop is a place where more and more people are beginning to stop. Inside are lots of exotic treats like ostrich pies and pickled warthog feet. But one item these days has become a hot seller. It's a pie stuffed with the meat of a real mean-looking feller. How many you want to order? Yes, folks, right before your eyes. None other than crocodile pies. If you want to know how to make this reptilian delight, pull out pen and paper and get ready to write. Fillet one crocodile, preferably dead. Use just the stomach, please, not the tail or the head. Put the stuff in a pie shell, apply some heat, and in 30 to 45 minutes, you've got a genuine crocodile pie to eat. Now, on my honor, folks, I'll even make the sign of Mr. Spock. That story you saw was not a crock.
I think I'll stick to other basic foods.
It might be kind of good.
Well, baseball action tonight for both big fellas and little fellas.
Bob Burgess scores and highlights. An eerie, somewhat surreal feeling one gets standing in the midst of what was St. Christopher's Sanctuary. Prejudice in the courtroom or anywhere else isn't new, but what does it have to do with justice? The question is whether an on- or off-the-record gesture or offhand remark affects the outcome of court actions or confidence in the court system. The Michigan Supreme Court task forces on gender and racial ethnic issues in the courts say yes. Herb, this latest crash happened exactly 3 years and 28 days after another Delta plane went down at the Dallas-Fort Worth airport, killing more than 100 people. That tragedy was blamed on a natural phenomena called wind shear. Speculation right now about today's crash is focusing either on engine failure or some other kind of mechanical problem. A local newspaper account from that day, people soon began to gather here on Main Street downtown. By 3 o'clock that afternoon, hundreds of folks were here. Many crying out loud, others silent with stunned looks on their faces. Reportedly, one man took the radio on which he had just heard the news and smashed it against a brick wall. Before the state will spend any money for your health care, you must be without your own resources, health insurance, savings, wages, etc., to pay the costs either in part or total. Healthcare costs incurred without authorization are your financial responsibility. Now, while the department will provide you with required health care, you might be allowed to seek health services from outside providers at no cost or liability to the department. The next place to feel the full wrath of the river is near the city of Des Arc in Prairie County. Here, the White River is expected to crest sometime tomorrow.
Good evening, everyone. A Jackson man is listed in fair condition tonight at St. Dominic's Hospital after being overcome by toxic fumes.
You know, Stephanie, in this particular story, the who, the what, and the how must almost take a backseat to the where. The incident happened at the swimming pool at the downtown YMCA. Financial considerations aside, a lot of folks like to take the train because it's a very laid-back way to travel. China takes a stand on the possibility of war, Turkey telling the U.S. to wait, and the Russians seem to think there is no stopping a war. For residents in the town of Boston, this incident was particularly shocking because this was the very first homicide in that community this year. Irv, back to you.
Warren, has bail been set for the suspect?
No, it hasn't. It will probably be set during a preliminary hearing on Friday morning. If ever there was a night for America's boxing public to take notice of Lansing and Lansing fighters, this was certainly it.
For the first time tonight, a championship bout was televised live from the capital city. Welcome to the business page, a weekly electronic view into the boardrooms, warehouses, and research centers of Michigan's top companies. I'm Warren Williams. Each week, we examine some of the state's top corporations as well as small companies to learn their secrets of business success. Plus, we take a look at the issues that wind the gears of Michigan's economy.
You know, you really couldn't have asked for a better day than this. The rain stayed away. The Bills won a game the experts said they wouldn't. And the capacity crowd of some 80,000 fans was, no pun intended, fantastic. They started coming as early as 7 o'clock this morning. That new breed of American sports fan called the tailgater.
And joining us now from our newsroom is Warren Williams, a spokesman for Michigan's Department of Corrections. Mr. Williams, what are you going to do about this? How do you tighten security so the residents don't have to live in fear that this is going to happen again?
Well, Dan, priority number one for us, obviously, is to make sure that those individuals that are still at large are, in fact, recaptured and are brought back behind prison walls. You've been tuned in during the day to the Live Aid concert. You've been in very good company. An estimated 1.5 billion people are believed to have seen or heard what's being called the world's greatest musical event. The U.S. portion of that event in Philadelphia is still going on at this hour. Organizers say the Live Aid concerts have raised over $20 million so far to help starving people in Africa. They're rocking the night away in Philadelphia. Over 90,000 people in person, maybe 1 billion others in front of TV sets or radios. There has been nothing like it before. There may never be anything like it again. Live Aid, a rock concert with the loftiest of goals to end the starvation of millions of people in Africa.
This is to bring the plight in Africa to the homes of all the people in the world.
The Live Aid effort began this morning in London. There, rock greats like David Bowie, Elton John, and Paul McCartney performed in Wembley Stadium. Mid-Southerner B.B. King pitched in by doing some fancy guitar picking from Holland. About mid-morning Memphis time, dozens more rock and rhythm and blues greats took center stage in Philadelphia's JFK Stadium. Through the use of technology rivaling that for a space mission, folks worldwide heard and saw the London and Philadelphia concerts. They also heard constant pleas for donations.
Hunger hasn't ended yet, so we can't afford to let up.
Promoters say the pleas are being heard. An oil sheik pledged over £1 million British pounds. That's well over $1 million American dollars.
£1 million. £1 million. Well done. Fantastic. Great.
Organizers of the Live Aid effort admit it's going to take months for the money being raised to reach the folks for whom it's intended. But the encouraging thing is help is on the way, and there are millions of people to thank for it.
You made your